Today we're going to talk about how you can triple your real estate value by strategically renovating your property and having a better management philosophy and execution. This was a super lucrative equation that we used to be able to implement, go out, execute. We raised the value of the property by 3x. We increased cash flow by 800%. We still own the deal today after refinancing and taking a lot of the cash out. And we still have significant equity and it still is cash flowing, even with that refinance in play. And it's likely we're gonna keep it for another 2 years before unloading it, selling it, and going and putting those proceeds tax-free into the next property. The first step to the turnaround strategy was to find a great property in a great location at a great price. Well, how'd we do that? On this specific deal, it happened to be all about my network. My buddy who I went to high school with, his dad was walking through the neighborhood where this 10 unit was. He got to know the owner. From the sounds of it, the guy that owns it wants to sell it and just dump it and be done with it. I immediately got the address from my dad's buddy. I went online, I looked it up. In most states and in most counties and in most towns, you can take an address of a property, look up on a county or a city or a state website and find the actual tax parcel information. On the tax parcel information shows obviously how much they paid in taxes, but it also shows who the owner is, whether it's an individual or an LLC. So I typed in the gentleman's name at whitepages.com. I found a couple phone numbers for him. I started calling the phone numbers that were listed. The first couple were, no good. And it was like the third or fourth phone number, I reached the guy. He said, hello. So immediately I said, hey, Mr. So-and-so, I'm Justin Spaulding. I own and operate, at the time it was 300 units. I own and operate 300 units in South Central Wisconsin. I'm looking to buy other real estate deals. I notice that you have this deal at X address. In the next 5 years, would you be looking to sell that deal? The key on that phone call was I didn't try to negotiate a price right then and there. I didn't ask about a price right then and there. I immediately set up that next appointment, and the very next day I went out and we met at the property. I toured it. I quickly found out that there was 4 units that had been down in the last couple of years, and they were stripped down to basically the studs and cement floors. The weeds were all over the place. The landscaping was out of control. There was holes in the siding. I saw squirrels going in and out of those holes. I knew he had an issue on his hands that he did not want to deal with, and he wanted to just sell to somebody who did want to deal with it, me. After the tour, I started asking him, hey, what's your timing on this? When do you want to sell? I mean, I'm willing to close this thing ASAP. And I just kind of started to ask what a price was. And he let me know that he wanted to get out of the deal as soon as possible. I mean, to be honest with you, it sounded like he really needed the money and needed to get out. So basically I said, hey, what do you want for a purchase price? He had said that he wanted $600,000. I negotiated him down to $566,000. I knew that other similar properties at the time were going for $875,000. Now, the properties that were going for $875,000, more than $300,000 greater than what I was trying to buy this property for, those were fully rented, they were in nice condition, they didn't require all the work that this property was gonna require. It only took 48 hours and I had it locked up and under contract at the $566,000 mark. Once we tied the property up, I immediately started thinking about all the renovations that we were gonna have to do. What needs to be done to be able to protect the asset? What needs to be done for curb appeal to attract people into the building to wanna see our vacant apartments? So we started to make a list, and it included siding, putting new landscaping in, new patios, new common area paint, a new sign out front, a new front exterior entrance door, all new appliances. We're gonna need new flooring in the apartments, and some of the apartments we're gonna need new cabinets as well. Through a combination of full exterior remodel, partial interior apartment remodels, we were able to put $150,000 into this property to be able to get it to where it needed to be. Within 72 hours, we had all the old landscaping ripped out, the siding was starting to get torn off and the new siding going up. Simultaneously, we were working on the common areas on the inside, so the hallways, the stairwells. Basically, we put in new paint and we put new light fixtures in to brighten and spruce the place up. When you take over a building that you know the rents are well under market, like we're talking $500, $600 a month, you can't just go out and just basically ask all the time for these huge increases in rent. We had to do something, we had to prove ourselves. By doing this quickly and fastly, doing it with speed, when we did give them a renewal for a rent increase that was $300, $400 more per month, they weren't shocked. The people that did move out, we just got to get in to that unit right away and knock out the flooring, do the new appliances, new baseboard trim if it needed it, new doors, etc., etc. We're off and rolling. We bought the deal so it was cash flow positive day one, even though 4 of the units were unrented and unrentable. As we fixed up those 4 units, every single unit that we added and put back online, it was free cash flow dropping to the bottom line. Last but not least, we really paid attention to the management that we offered the property. This really helped boost the profits, aka the net operating income, and this also helped with resident retention and marketing and showings of the properties. We offered 24/7 emergency maintenance. We offered online payment portals, online portals where tenants could go and submit their work orders. None of that stuff was being done before. Prior to that, the tenants said that none of the work orders were ever getting done, so they just stopped reporting them. If they had a leak, they just let that thing keep dripping. It's gonna deteriorate the property, meaning it's gonna be bigger repairs later on for whoever owns the deal if it's not being fixed. We're also very strict with the screening of our applicants before they move in. Obviously, we comply with fair housing standards, but we do set a very high bar to be sure that we don't have any issues such as non-payment or other issues that could come up when you're owning real estate. Now let's dive real quick into what the revenue, the expenses, the net operating income, and the value of the property was prior to us purchasing, and what those numbers are now 4 years later after we've implemented and executed on our business plan. The rent roll on the 10 units. When we first bought it was $725 a month, $700 a month, 0, which was a vacant unit, $700, 0, $650, $650, 0, 0, $550. Today we've got rents that are about double that. The total income the year prior to us owning was $66,099, and the total net operating income was $38,747. The revenue that we had over the last year at this property was $123,334, and the net operating income was $81,605. If there was something in here that piqued your interest, if you have a question from something we talked about, or just if you have a comment, leave a comment so that we can discuss it. Happy to answer your questions. I want to see you have success. And in exchange for that, if you could just like the video and please subscribe, that'd mean the world to me. Thanks.